Hello, everybody. Welcome to May 2025. I'm Lisa with the Dynamic Self Astrology, here for another monthly overview of the astrology ahead. This is a dictation of my newsletter that I send out every month. If you'd like to get on my newsletter list, sign up, go to my website, and you can sign up there. Awesome. Well, nice to see all of you. Let's jump in. So now that the retrograde storm is coming to a close and the March eclipse season that we all endured a couple months ago has kind of been settling into, there is this sense of settling. We could be feeling the need to reorient and take stock of where parts of our lives have landed. This doesn't mean that life is slowing down, quite the opposite, but we have a clear idea of where we have landed. And the direction that we are headed in could be a distinctly new direction, or the existing pathway could have been upgraded. April could have provided some relief or clarity regarding the topics that were uprooted earlier in the year. And May will continue the process as both Mercury and Venus will exit their retrograde shadow. This occurs with Mercury on May 2nd and Venus on May 16th. This means that we are officially emerging from the phase of deep-rooted dismantling and into the realm of revisioning and rebuilding, although that doesn't necessarily mean that the water will be still. So our first stop for the month of May is with the Pluto stationing retrograde. Much of the last week of April and the first week of May is flavored by Pluto stationing retrograde. It stations at 3 degrees Aquarius, 49 minutes. Although Pluto doesn't station until May 4th, it will essentially be standing still in the sky from our perspective until the second week of May. I'm writing this as we come off of the potent Taurus new moon, which occurred on April 27th, and just after the Mars-Pluto opposition, and was situated square to it. Hence, I can testify that Pluto being highlighted as it slows to stop is making an impact as May begins. There's an invitation to take a chance on a new dream, step into a fresh vision of yourself. Maybe you have been shedding layers for a while now, slogging through obsolete material, and have come to realize that it's time to boldly reinvent yourself, or at least a part of yourself. Change could feel absolutely inevitable. The impetus for transformation arriving at our doorstep as spring unfolds its beauty, at least in the northern hemisphere, is lovely. Embracing a new path amongst a brightly colored spring landscape can lighten a potentially overwhelming process. What outdated layers of yourself are you leaving to the wayside? I encourage you to let these layers gracefully slide off your shoulders and fertilize the earth that they land upon. Don't look back. This is the first retrograde cycle since Pluto initially ingressed into Aquarius in 2023. We will continue to see technology progress at breakneck speeds, and will gain clearer visions of how we would like our social systems to be organized and upheld. Take a look at what house Pluto is in at this time, and if you have any planets or angles at or near 3 degrees of a fixed sign. The fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If you have placements near 3 degrees of a fixed sign, then you will likely be more intimately impacted by Pluto's station retrograde. Next, we move to the Scorpio full moon. The Scorpio full moon takes place on May 12th at 22 degrees Scorpio 12 minutes, and it's not chill. Not only is the Sun conjunct Uranus, but it is also connected with both Mars and Uranus via declination. This indicates that the full moon will be infiltrated with sudden action, rebellion, revolution, and breakthroughs. We could experience tensions and even violent acts. That same day, Mercury will perfect a square to Pluto, a combination that suggests heavy information, words that carry deep truth, or even traumatic news. In addition, the moon is connected with Jupiter and Pluto through declination, suggesting that the people in general are looking for empowerment, and they could find ways to step into their innate power. So much of this full moon chart points towards revolution of some kind. It will be interesting to witness how it actually plays out. Because the Sun will perfect its conjunction to Uranus on May 17th, We could feel the reverberation of the Scorpio full moon until about May 20th. We can expect that the time surrounding this full moon to be quite action-packed and even a bit chaotic. While the outcome of this full moon may not live up to the hype that the astrology is painting, or maybe it does, it is likely that we could personally feel as though life is moving more quickly than usual and could be much more complicated than it should be. The invitation embedded within the Scorpio full moon is to shake things up and be emboldened to speak the truth to the moment. If we are slipping back into old patterns, mindsets, and habits, this full moon could be increasingly more challenging. We could be reaching for outdated means for security, allow for new opportunities and patterns to manifest in your life. Trust that the process will be worth the initial discomfort. I advise you to put effort towards preparing your body for bedtime around this time. Maybe have some backup melatonin. This full moon could keep you up through the night. It's very activated. Also, take consistent moments to calm your nervous system throughout the day. Breathe, move, calm the mind. Even if momentous events aren't manifesting within your personal life, you are certain to feel the intensity of this time within your body. So our next momentous astrological event is Saturn moving into Aries, making its initial ingress into Aries. So on May 24th, we will encounter another notable planetary ingress, which is Saturn into Aries. This is just one in the many lineups of planetary ingresses that are occurring this year. We just had Neptune ingress into Aries as well last month. So Saturn remains in a sign for about 2.5 years and has been in the sign of Pisces since March 2023. So a good amount of time. This is not a clean ingress into Aries, meaning that Saturn will only make it to 1 degrees Aries 56 minutes, and then it will station retrograde on July 12th, 2025, and make its way back into Pisces on September 1st, 2025. The final ingress will take place on February 13th, 2026, only days before Saturn and Neptune perfect their much anticipated conjunction at 0 degrees Aries 45 minutes. So that's really what this is all working up to. Suffice to say, Saturn is central to an important astrological storyline at this time. In the past couple of months, Saturn marked the point where both Mercury and Venus stationed direct, and now Saturn is headed straight towards Neptune in Aries. Although they will not perfect their conjunction until next year, they will be less than a degree from one another for most of this summer. What this means is that the foundations that we depend upon, both culturally as well as personally, are being tested. We could be revisioning the path that we have been walking along. There's the possibility that our current pathway is no longer working for us. So much material has been kicked up since the beginning of 2025. We could be reaching to reorient, only to find that the groundwork that we once knew is no longer available, or the world that we once knew to be real is now showing its deceptive ways, and we can no longer return in that same direction. While it's currently impossible to separate Saturn's ingress into Aries from its close proximity to Neptune, it is important to understand the nature of Saturn in Aries on its own. In Aries, Saturn is in what we call its fall, meaning that there is an inherent struggle for Saturn within the sign of Aries. Saturn wants to move slowly and logistically, collect the data, and work from there. However, in Aries, Saturn is completely frazzled due to the fast-paced, shoot now, ask questions later mentality of this first sign of the zodiac. Aries is all about stepping up to be first, the excitement of now, the rush of action, all things that make it challenging for Saturn to do its job, which is to maintain responsibility and stability. Collectively, there's the potential for society in general to feel the edgy nature of Saturn in Aries. We can expect that the structures that we depend upon will continue to be disrupted. And the next year in particular, and even until the end of 2026, we can expect that figures of tradition and stability will lack a voice. the ineffectiveness and eventual dissolving of conventional government and other standard principles, will find that there is no place for them. It is time to create new customs and forms of heritage. The disruption that a weakened Saturn conjunct Neptune can create is all-encompassing. It is possible that we will not recognize the actual outcomes of the changes that are occurring for some time. If you feel that you are standing on quicksand, that you cannot get your bearing in the world, then I hate to tell you, but you're in the right place. This transit is important so that we can recreate our world from a more future-leaning orientation. Do not cling to or grieve the norms that insist on slipping away. It is time, and it is correct for these areas of our life to take their leave. Our final stop is at the Gemini new moon. At the end of a pretty intense month, the Gemini new moon could ease the pressure that has been building. Taking place on May 26th and situated at 6 degrees Gemini, 5 minutes, the new moon is conjunct Mercury and is in a flowing aspect to Saturn and Neptune in Aries, so that same combination that we just spoke to. Gemini is a sign that is curious at its core and can easily hold many conflicting ideas at once. Although the shift of Saturn into Aries a couple of days prior could bring up some heavy topics and even discomfort, this new moon invites us not to become too invested in one outcome or another, but to delight in the nuances and the innate change that is embedded in every option. Gemini understands that nothing is permanent, nor is anything perfect. At a glance, Gemini can grasp and appreciate these fundamentals of Earth life. This talent is what can make Gemini simultaneously inspired and also disappointed with every option that they encounter. The Gemini gift at this time is to see the world through the lens of curiosity and possibility. With Mercury in Gemini conjunct the new moon, the cognitive function is further emphasized. Hence, there is a quickening to this new moon, but likely not as jolting as the Scorpio full moon that occurs at the beginning of the month. However, it is notable that Mercury is in a wide, separating, and out of sign conjunction with Uranus, and this could add more electricity to the lunation. The new moon ushers in an emphasized out-of-the-box perspective when perceiving the steps to take forward in a new world. In addition, there's a trend to Pluto from the Gemini new moon, suggesting that as we reconfigure reality with a spirit of curiosity, empowerment is increasingly more accessible. Put on your thinking caps, my friends. Get out your detective tools and grab some dynamite as well. Anything is possible through the power of the mind. It is a fact that humans use only small portions of their brain capacity. Maybe it's time to strengthen our mental muscle and reach beyond what is currently within range. Remember, anything is possible. So in closing, May promises to be quite a powerful month. After several months of retrograde upheaval with Mars, Venus, and Mercury, respectively, the cosmos isn't letting us settle into our lives as it was before. We cannot lean back into the good old lazy boy and perceive the world as we did before. If we attempt to do this, we could be plagued with external tumult and internal dysregulation. And if you find that you are encountering pushback in your life, it is a good time to ask yourself, what needs to change? What needs to be thrown away in order to make room for the new? Is there a new perspective that is begging you to explore it? Or a pattern in your life that needs to be broken? This is a time to take stock of what has been dislodged in your life, either externally or within you, and do something with it. The clay is moldable. It's pliable again. What will you recreate? Explore the limits of your mind and then go farther. Remember that your mind and your thoughts are actually vibrations, and that you can tune the vibrations of your mind. You have the power to choose the tune, the vibration that your mental faculty, which is you, pulsates into the cosmos. And what's even more exciting is that we can all harmonize and tune together. I feel that this is really important at this time, although we might not know exactly how to use this tool that humans have that potentially has been lost. So keep exploring the world that you want to manifest. Find like-minded people to work with. It is time for the steadfast to dissolve. Trust the process and find inspiration in the possibility. We're all in this together. Remember that separation is only an illusion and love is the only truth. So much love to each of you. See you next month. Have a good one. Take care, everybody.